Over the past couple of days, we've seen a few upsets at the World Cup, including last night's result between Saudi Arabia and Uruguay. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we're looking back at Saudi Arabia's draw with Uruguay, that's right, over in Group H. What's that done to the master plan? Well, we'll get into it, all of it, in just 1 second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe. You want some show for Black and Rovers, World Cup reviews, World Cup previews, that's right. We're going to all here under one Ruski, that's right. Uruguay came into this World Cup with hopes and dreams of a nation on their shoulders, but have they already screwed the pooch? That's right. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you in just 1 second. Big shout out to my members, big shout out to the patrons, big shout out to you. If you're new, smash your subscribe. We're looking for 48 likes on these videos. Can we do it? Well, it's down to you. So smash the like, smash the subscribe. Let's get into this one and review the game, of course. It was a 1-1 scoreline in the end, and goodness gracious me, Uruguay. In fact, this whole group is going to chaos, utter chaos, after all four nations ending up with just the 1 point after the first round of games in what could have been and probably should have been on paper wins for Spain, wins for Uruguay. But kudos to Saudi Arabia, kudos to Cabo Verde coming out with solid points against their more experienced opposition. And this was no different. Saudi Arabia, in fact, took the lead on this game, 41st minute, to open up the to real put pressure under Uruguay. In the first half, which they sort of edged. It wasn't until the second half Uruguay really cranked it up a notch and really turned the screw. As you can see from the total shots here, 27 shots for the Uruguayans compared to that of 7 for Saudi Arabia, who were parking the bus a little bit at the back end of it. So kudos to ex-Rover Georgia Stanis in the dugout there for Saudi Arabia. So solid point for them against the run of play, you would imagine. And of course, what does that do for Saudi Arabia's hopes and dreams? Well, it still will go down to that monumental game against Cabo Verde whenever these two sides lock horns. But Uruguay got a bit of work to do themselves, and of course they need to make sure they get any errors, any blips on their resume out of the way now. If they're going to go for a deeper run, which they hope, it could, it has to get better than this. It definitely does. Anyway, Maximiliano Araujo put the ball in the back of the net on the 80th minute to at least save some blushes there for Uruguay. And of course, it's not perfect, but it means they move on with a point, and of course, a level on points with the likes of Uruguay as well. So a level on points with Spain as well. So not too shabby, but really they need to crank it up a bit. Take a look at the possession stats on this one. 67% for Uruguay, which just shows the dominance on this game. 33% in favour of Saudi Arabia. What about the starting 11s? Of course, starting in between the sticks, it was Mohamed Olawis, the 34-year-old goalkeeper there. And the back, we had Abdul Amiri, Hassan Takambaki, Motem Al-Afharbi, Saul Abdalhamid. Into the midfield, we had Abdul Akayami, Mohamed Kano, Mohamed Al-Sharmat, Musa Al-Jawari, Salim Al-Dawismi, and Firis Al-Brakan as well, to give themselves some options up top. The goal scorer coming from the centre-back, 29-year-old as well. As for Uruguay, they started with this squad, Fernando Musiala, 40 years old now, between the sticks. Caceres at the back there, Matias Oliveira, Martinez, Vina, Guillermo Valera to make up a back four. Into midfield, the likes of Ugarte, Bentancur, Valverde, Araujo, and up top, Federico Vinas and Darwin Nunez up top. Look at the squad valuations, chalk and cheese between the two sides. 27 million euros for that of Saudi Arabia, 218 million euros for that of Uruguay. And of course, if you look closer at the numbers, 9 million of that euros is on this right back here. So you take him out of the team. In fact, take him and this guy out of the team. We're looking at a very much a peanut flavoured sort of squad here in regards to value. As for the substitutions, we saw the likes of El Amiadi coming on there. We also saw Nadif Bouchmal, Nasser Al-Dawasi, and Ali Aheji alongside Abdul Hamadam coming on. As for Uruguay, we saw the likes of Juan Manuel Staribi coming on there, Nicolas de la Cruz, Brian Rodriguez, Austin Carabo, and Rodrigo Aguirre to give them some more options in the attacking ranks. As for performances on the pitch, 6.74 on average for your Saudi Arabians, with standout performances from Al-Alami with the goal. There was 7.8, 7.6 there. Goalkeeper Alayawas as well with a 7.6. As for Uruguay, we've got a couple of players maybe breaking over the 7 mark there, with Oliveira at the back there, with Araujo up top with the goal. As you can see though from the timeline of events, goal right before half time, and of course a lot of not till later on in the match before Uruguay could get the equaliser. The match momentum, as you saw it here, it was cranked up a notch just before halftime, where Saudi Arabia got their goal, and it wasn't until it was non-stop action for Uruguay in the second half, culminating in a goal by Uruguay to equalise. Of course. What does that do to the table? Well, have a look at it, guys. Here we go over in this group, which we see now Spain and Cabo Verde earlier with a 0-0 scoreline. Saudi Arabia also drawing now with Uruguay to make it all even Stevens, 1 point apiece, heading into match day number 2. So that's the situation over there. What about the situation on the social media scope? We're going to get into that now if I can. I'm just going to hop here for a second and do a little bit of jiggery pokery and have a look at it then, shall we? Here we go with the likes of Dato Incomodo. Says nobody's going to say it. Uruguay doesn't exist. 4 stars and it ties with national team. You don't even know if it's a country or a gas station. Uruguay is in decline. We lost our identity. We have a coach, sure, a good one, but Argentine. In 10 years, a Cuban will be leading us. Deplorable. Meanwhile, Ucintento says, ha ha ha, these are the ones who were bragging that they wanted to play against the world champion in the round of 16. Meanwhile, Franco says Bentancur can't play with Ugarte. It was crystal clear. Bentancur has started Ugarte to the bench. Meanwhile, we've got Joaquim, 1899. Great second half. That's the Uruguay that gets us dreaming. We can't start going to sleep, even though I get that it's a debut. There were 10 minutes where Saudi Arabia was superior and nailed us. That can't happen. Joseba should play. We need someone who fights up top on the flank. Venus looked really good. Kicking on forward, we can't get knocked out in the group stage of this World Cup. That's the only thing I'm asking. Muslera, I think I had a lot to do with their goal. You can't leave that rebound like that. Come on, let's go. We need to step it up. And of course, from the Saudi point of view, wonderful opening game for Saudi. Keep up the great performances in the next game. So those were some of the comments made online. What about you guys? How did you call it, though, before the game was even kicked? 84% of you went in favour of Uruguay, 11% went with Saudi Arabia, and only 5 of you, smart guys out there, went with the draw. As for the ping pong ball, the ping pong balls went in favour of Saudi Arabia with 3-2 scoreline. The cat also went for Uruguay. What about me? Let's head to the board. All right, folks, that's for me. I did predict a 1-0 win for Uruguay against the Saudi Arabians. Of course, got that one completely wrong. So hopefully get that right better next time. All right, then. So the final thing is, of course, to update the actual scoreboard. So here we go. Putting in the big fat 1-1 scoreline between Saudi Arabia and Uruguay. Well, there you have it, folks. There you bloody have it, of course. All square between Saudi Arabia and Uruguay. Of course, what will happen in match day number 2. That's, of course, what's on the agenda. Hot off the topic. So make sure you smash the subscribe, smash the like, of course, and come back for the match previews for match number 2. But until then, we're done.